So there's going to be a franchising discussion tomorrow in Lagos, Nigeria's economic and financial capital, bringing the franchisees and franchisors, government officials, financial institutions, and others together to discuss a new report about the franchising business in Nigeria. And that will be something you may want to watch. And the reason is simple, because the world of franchising is big business, in particular for countries with a massive population and a massive informal economic sector. So how do we get this right from a regulatory point of view and financing and other infrastructure that we need to put there? Let's get to talk to the man who is bringing this to us live here in the studios with us. Chigozie Nwezo is a managing consultant at Franchise Business Development Services. Good morning. It's good to have you here. Bring us to speed very quickly. Franchising looks like big grammar. Break it down. What does it mean in simple words?
Okay, franchising is basically an established business that has proven business, systems, okay, and is profitable, giving the rights to some other party to take advantage of, leverage, that brand to be able to operate a successful and profitable business. And this becomes very important because of the lack of capacity that we see in SME space. In the SME space. So, typically SMEs, because they lack capacity, franchising becomes an opportunity for them to be able to leverage, a brand and be able to venture into businesses that, will be able to survive.
Let's start from the study that was done, and that's very interesting. Thanks for giving us the background. But if you look at the study, what does it really reveal about this business of franchising in Nigeria, the state of that subsector of our economy?
Okay, something very interesting about the study and why we are discussing franchising today is because in Nigeria we have over 37 million micro, small and medium scale enterprises. Among these 37 million businesses, statistics has it that over 80% of them will not see the next couple of, maybe about 3 years. Why is it so? Because of lack of capacity. And now we are looking at ways we are an SME-driven economy. We need to have the SME space buoyant, and you have a couple of stakeholders within that space. You have the government that wants the SME to be doing well, so that we'll be able to generate, revenues, taxes, and all that. The financial institutions, they finance businesses. They want to be able to finance businesses and get back the investment. Now we have a lot of banks that struggle today because they've given out loans, and we have what we call non-performing loans, and it's mostly the SMEs that create these challenges to the banks. Franchise businesses, because they are proven businesses, like I said earlier, they give an opportunity to grow businesses that are not going to fail. Now you talk about loss of jobs, employment. We have people that they lose their jobs because a business doesn't have continuity. Right? And then people need to keep their jobs. So, and then what about the investors, people that raise funds, maybe saved money over the years working in a firm, and they ventured, and eventually they're not able to sustain that business because of the management, experience, ability to grow a business, and it leads to a failure. So you can see how franchising becomes important. Why? Because it gives, because of the subject matter of business continuity. Why is it so? Okay, now after looking at Nigeria and seeing these challenges, this study was commissioned, by a defeat program called PDF Nigeria, which FBDS.
That's the DFID.
Exactly, yeah. Which FBDS executed. So the study, was executed across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, and also commissioned in 3 other countries: the UAE, South Africa, and India. And UAE, South Africa, and the USA, right? So from that, we had to benchmark these countries who had advanced, their franchise industries had grown. We've seen very interesting results. We've seen how their SME economy had grown. I can give you a lot of statistics. Today, South Africa, over 12.5% of their GDP is generated from franchising. While here we are talking about SMEs that fail, about 80% of them that fail within 3 years. In South Africa, only 5% of franchise businesses had failed over the years. So we are talking about 95% success rate compared to our 80% failure
mortality rate.
Right? So because we want businesses in Nigeria to have a life, not just about having a life, to grow and expand, because of the knowledge transfer and replication of the learning curve that a business has been able to develop over the years. That was why the study was commissioned. And we wanted to know, interestingly, Nigeria is the destination of over 40% of foreign direct investment in the whole, in the whole of West Africa. Why is it that such a country that has a lot of commercial activities going on, FDIs, has very little franchise activities going on compared to a comparable economy like South Africa? So we found out in that study that is a lack of awareness. There's little awareness, and then the average Nigerian wants to be a boss of his own. People misunderstand franchising, thinking that the moment you buy a franchise, it is more like you're supporting the business of another person.
So everybody wants to be your own boss.
Exactly.
Could actually be mistaken.
That is it. So the mistake there is that while the lack of discipline is killing the the startup businesses, the franchisor himself has created systems which he wants to standardize. He wants to be sure that the discipline is maintained through the controls and the systems in place.
In other words, franchising is not about do it alone, but it means go with others, isn't it?
That is it.
So that we all live together and live longer, rather than we all die prematurely, individually.
For lack of knowledge, experience, and
and coordination,
and all that,
and leaning on each other.
That is it. So now, going forward, we've had from that study, interestingly, it was like everybody was waiting for to jump into the bandwagon. So when we did that study, we had all the relevant stakeholders. We had the